Well, hello. My name is Valentina Arango. For the presentation of the final assessment, I chose the beverages industry. More specifically, I chose Cold Cafe because it is a company with very important international key accounts. I chose it as well because it's very easy for me to apply the concepts that we have seen throughout the semester with this company because it's very familiar to me. So, okay, let's just start. The first question: who is Cold Cafe? So Cold Cafe is a coffee roaster and processor. It is owned by Grupo Nutresa. It has over 67 years of experience in the market. In Colombia, it has very important brands such as Sello Rojo, which is the most important brand in Colombia that has like over 50% of the market share in frozen ground coffee. It has La Bastilla, which is very focused in the Antioquia region. It has Cold Cafe, which belongs to the coffee instant category. And we have Matiz as well, which is a more premium brand. Okay, so how it operates. As I said before, it belongs to Grupo Nutresa, and the coffee business of Grupo Nutresa, which is called Cafe, has six production plants in total. So four in Colombia, um, and one in Chile and one in Malaysia. So the forts in Colombia are divided by one in Medellin, one in Ibagué, one in Bogota, and one in Santa Marta. So for Cold Cafe, 37% of the sales are made outside of the country. And let's say of that 37%, 95% of those international sales are represented by private label sales and by industrial coffee. Our brands represent only 5% of those international sales. Regarding product portfolio, for the international sales, of course, we have the brands, but as I was mentioning, the other products are more important. We have whole bean coffee. When I say whole bean, of course, I mean roasted, and roast and ground coffee, instant coffee, which can be powder, agglomerated, or freeze dried coffee, coffee extracts, cold brew and hot brew, and coffee oil. Well, so as I was mentioning, the most important segments for Cold Cafe are private label and industrial clients. So the key accounts that I chose are companies that they kind of respond to these segments. The first one I chose is Costa Coffee, which would be a potential client for the industrial sales, and Costco, which would be a potential client for the private label sales. So I'm going to be reading a couple of facts that I have about these companies. So first, Costa Coffee was founded in 1987 by the Costa brothers. It is a coffee chain from UK. Until 2017, it had around 3,400 stores operating in more than 31 countries. In until 2018, Costa Coffee was owned by a very large hospitality company in the UK, which is with Whitbread. And then something very important happened last year with Costa Coffee, and it was that Coca-Cola company acquired Costa Coffee for $5.1 billion. Well, regarding Costco is a huge retailer on wholesaler in the United States. I'm gonna be reading a couple of facts. It was founded in 1976. It first had the name of Price Club. Then in 1993, it merged with Costco. And then it was until 1997 when the company changed its name and they changed it for Costco. So it was not a Price Club anymore, but Costco. And I'm sorry, in 1967, it had the name of Price Club. Then in 1993, it merged with Costco and it had the name of Price Costco. Then in 1997, it changed its name for Costco, just Costco. So Costco actually provides, well, it is a retailer. It operates under like wholesaler strategy, and it gives very good prices in the United States. It provides very good prices. So it is more price oriented than anything else. Well, so continuing with more facts, well, as I was mentioning, Costa Coffee in 2018 had more than 3,000 stores in more than 31 countries. It had sales for more than $4,000 million, which is like sales for more than $4 billion. And well, if we estimate the potentials, if we sell, I made an estimation of what we could sell to Costa Coffee, and I said that if we sell to Costa Coffee, to each Costa Coffee store 20 kilograms of coffee powder per month with a price of 7 kilos of $7 per kilo, which is like a very standard product, we could make a potential revenue of 472,000 USD per month, which that would be 5.6 million a year. This is a very significant revenue, and this would become a very significant account. $5.6 million account for a year. Well, so regarding the business, regarding the buying process unit, it's important to understand that before Costa Coffee belonged to Whitebread, and since last year it was acquired to Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola now is the one who makes the decisions. And as important to take into account that, so now the decision making unit is not the same as before. Let's say that Coca-Cola has its own global, when very big projects are involved, very big coffee projects, it is required that the global coffee leader or the global coffee buyer that's involved in these projects. And in this case, in Coca-Cola case, the global buyer of the coffee category is located in Dubai. So those are aspects that we must take into account. Regarding Costco, their revenues for the for the year 2018-2019, May 31st, were around 150 billion dollars. It had a growth of over 7% in the period 2017-2017. And well, something important to take into considerations is that this Costco warehouse carry about 4,000 SKUs, which is not a big quantity of SKUs if we compare it with normal supermarkets. Regarding the SWOT analysis, well, I want to make I want to say something important. I want to mention something very important, and is that because when a company, when an account for Cold Cafe, when an account is as private label, it belongs as well to the industrial segment, because those are very big accounts. It's like industrial coffee. It's not like it's our brands that are sold in a fewer quantity, but these are like industrial sales. So in some aspects, these accounts are very similar, because both are very important international players for the coffee industry. Costco, which is a retailer that it of course has its own private label. I'm gonna mention the name later. I just forgot it right now. And well, both are global players. Costco Coffee, that has operations in more than 8 countries, and Costa Coffee, that has operation in more than 31 countries. Each of them, the revenue of each of them is in $1 billion. And well, both of them would represent a very important account for Cold Cafe. So talking about the SWOT analysis, for Costa Coffee, our strengths seen in the eyes of Costa Coffee would be product range, quality, and pricing. Why? Product range, because we can provide them from whole bean to roast and ground to instant coffee, coffee extracts, all the solutions that are needed for behind the counter for a coffee store or a coffee shop. Well, weaknesses were not to identify for Cold Cafe as a Costa Coffee supplier. Opportunities and promotions, because as I think there is a lot more to do in B2B regarding promotion, so there is a huge opportunity there. And usually in the coffee business, because well, in Colombia it is like attached to the it is fixed, not attached, it is fixed to the dollar price and to the commodity price of the coffee of the sea market. It is kind of complicated to do this kind of promotions. Well, as trade, I see the pricing terms and the distribution kind of complicated because sorry, we have to think that our that for cold cafe, the competitors are not like our neighbors, the people that are maybe the companies that are maybe in another city of Colombia. They are not our competitors. Our competitors are in the world, in Malaysia, in Brazil, in Vietnam. We have to take that into consideration, or even in the US. Coffee roasters and processors that are located in the US, they can have a better distribution than us, and they can have better payment terms because we need them to be FOB. So, well, it requires a lot more of documentation and stuff. Regarding Costco, we say that product range is more or less a weakness. It's not such a weakness, but it's not a strength. So I said that it was more a weakness. Regarding quality, quality is a strength because cold cafe quality is very good. Then pricing, I categorize it as a weakness because well, Costco offers really good prices to its clients. So if we're talking about very expensive coffee or the logistics involved, or let's say certified coffee, well, we wouldn't be that competitive. Regarding the product range, since Costco is a wholesaler, it doesn't have like a huge amount of SKU. As I said before, it only has 4,000 SKUs. So our product range is not that important. And we wouldn't sell their coffee extracts or solutions for behind the counter, but like only private label. Promotions identified it as well as an opportunity, and threats as well, terms and distributions, because companies that are located in the US can have better payment and distribution terms. Regarding the relational model, in my opinion, it should be a partnership key account management. Why? Because, well, when you already have, well, you already are a supplier of such a big private label brand, a lot of things are into consideration. A lot of things are like on the table. So of course, non-disclosure agreements are needed. There needs to be an exchange between the people of quality assurance, of research and development, of the purchasing and the commercial parts of the two parties. So in my opinion, it should be well, so talking about the management of the account, more specifically, talking about the sales plan list. Let's start by talking about the product. So first of all, I would the product that I would choose for Costa Coffee would be coffee extract. Why? Because it is needed for the production of the cold beverages. So if I offer them a coffee extract product, it could make the barista life easier. So they could have easier dosification, efficiency, standardization of the coffee concentration. So one customer one day drinks at one coffee shop and the other day drinks in another city, and it tastes exactly the same because it has the same concentration, and it's easier for the barista to make cold beverages this way. For Costco, on the other hand, I would offer them three different types of roast and ground coffee. Why roast and ground coffee? Because it represents 60% of the overall coffee category in the United States. I would offer them one option of light roast, one medium roast, and one dark roast. I would offer as well the possibility of using certified coffee such as organic or rainforest or fair trade, but just as an option, as a more premium option. Well, something that I forgot to mention is that as Cold Cafe is as Costco coffee, as Costco, the retailer, sorry, is a wholesaler, it should have a very big presentation, because, well, that's what is used in the United States. But if you're a wholesaler, you should offer if you're selling to a wholesaler, or if you are the private level of a wholesaler, you should consider a big presentation such as 48 ounces. Regarding the service, the communication between the Cold Cafe, Costco, and Cold Cafe, Costa Coffee should be very frequent. They should like constant visit. Cold Cafe plan and Cold Cafe team should visit the clients. And well, I say that something very important is that for these like important accounts where these accounts are very big, Cold Cafe needs to guarantee that there's the Cold Cafe will always provide this product. And by saying this, I mean that Cold Cafe should have at least a container in a stock to assure that it can actually deliver the product. Because Cold Cafe has other clients, of course, but it needs to guarantee these two very important companies that it will provide them. So what I suggest is that Cold Cafe should have a container in terms of raw material and in terms of packaging material, and these companies should send them a forecast to Cold Cafe with at least 6 weeks in advance. Regarding the pricing section, pricing should be revised every 3 months, and this is because well, as I was mentioned before, coffee is fixed to dollar, to the value of dollar in the market and to the value of coffee in the market. So this is a very not a stable pricing, but Cold Cafe would make an effort of sustaining the price maintaining the price for 3 months. The price would be FOB. Credit, so due to Grupo Nutresa policies, the payment conditions should be 30 days after the product is received, except for the first purchase. That time is 100% payment in advance. As Cold Cafe belongs to Grupo Nutresa, that's a non-negotiable term. Well, regarding the negotiation, I would say that here, since both potential customers are very big, are very important and the market, I would say that the need to supply is higher than the need to have the product, like the demand. So regarding this, Cold Cafe will always negotiate on a win-win win-win negotiation.